Hi everybody, welcome to a quick first impressions review of the new MiG-29 Fulcrum, which has just been introduced to Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series S, X, PC, and of course if you've got Game Pass Ultimate you can game stream it via the cloud to your original Xbox Ones, which is absolutely fantastic, or an old laptop or PC as well. Now, I do like my jets in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We recently had the free Hornet, didn't we? Or the free Super Hornet, which was fantastic. I've also got the Tomcat. You know, who could resist not buying that? And of course, as far as piston engine airplanes, I've got the Spitfire as well. So I've bought a few of the DLC, and they're not cheap, are they? They're not cheap as well. But what drew me to the MiG-29 Fulcrum was really, I'll be honest with you, the war in Ukraine and the story about the Ghost of Kiev. Because when I get the aircraft that you buy, Microsoft Flight Simulator, I kind of think about, okay, so if I got this aircraft, what would I do with it apart from just flying it around? So with the Spitfire, it's all about kind of simulating Spitfire flights from the Second World War. With the Tomcat, it was about flying off carriers and simulating sort of Cold War stuff. And very much looking forward to us getting the F-35. Because then, be flying off carriers with that as well. And with the MiG-29 Fulcrum, it was the story of the Ukrainian Air Force MiGs engaging the Russian Air Force MiGs as well, and the legend of the Ghost of Kiev. So I thought I could probably do some nice videos of that, and maybe raise some money for charity for it as well. So the MiG-29, it's actually quite an old jet. As you can see from the specs here, it came out originally in 1977. And entered service in 1982. So it was a response by the Soviets to the Eagle and the Falcon from the Americans. So it can go incredibly fast, 1,500 miles an hour. Got amazing rate of climb, amazing ceiling, and a very nice twin engine high performance jet. In fact, you can kind of have a look at here. So first things first, let's just have a look at the different liveries that you can get with it. Let's just change that there, and then if we click L, so you can get, starting with this, so you've got the Korea Air Force. I don't know who they are, unless it's North Korean, and they've got, that should be a K. East German, I guess would that be East German? Do the Germans still have some? I suppose they might keep some MiGs in as for their aggressive squadrons. There's the skin for the Slovakia Air Force, digital camo. Normal Slovakia Air Force. The Ukraine Air Force. The Ghost of Kiev skin. Some plain digital camos. Nice snow camo, desert camo. I guess you could use that if you were simulating flights above Syria. What else have we got? Tiger, Black Star, yeah. And then what have we got here? Let's go. So then we've got kind of this, just a plain. Let's go to camo green. Night Squadron and Fulcrum. So as you can see, there's some really nice skins, and it's great to see all these skins on one of these planes. So what we'll do now is we will jump into the cockpit and we will take her for a spin. Okay, so here we are on the runway at actually Biggin Hill in the UK. It's a cloudy day, fairly flat lighting, so it's probably not showing the model off at its best. But what we can do is if we go into, here we go, showcase camera, we can zoom in and have a look round. And I think it looks pretty good from the outside. Pilot looks cool, doesn't he? Moving his head around. Very nice looking aircraft, these, aren't they? Very, 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 very nice looking aircraft. And let's go back into, let's have a look inside the cockpit. Now this doesn't look as good as, say, the Spitfire, I don't think. I think the kind of texture working on the inside isn't quite as good. I mean, it's got all the dials and all the knobs and everything like that, but there's a lack of depth, I think. So although it kind of looks like it's all there, it could do with a little bit more subtle texturing to give you more of a sense of 3D, if you like. But it kind of looks all right. Obviously, you've got your pedals working and all that stuff. There's the stick and everything on there. Okay, so now let's go to full afterburner. To get to full afterburner, you just take the throttle all the way up to the top, and the should cut in. Oh, what have I managed to do? I managed to stall it. What have I done? Okay, yes. Oh, yeah, I did something wrong there, didn't I? Right, here we go. Here she goes. There comes the afterburner. Oh, we're going on the grass. Wheels up. Look at that rate of climb. Now, what you have to remember with these, let's back off now. What you have to remember with these kind of first impressions reviews of the aircraft is I'm not an expert when it comes to flight simulators. Basically, the last flight simulator I played before Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox was the original Microsoft Flight Simulator back in in fact, it was Microsoft Flight Simulator 2 back in 1983. So it's all pretty amazing to me when I get in these things. So as far as flight models go and things like that, I couldn't really tell you. What I can tell you is, whether the plane kind of looks good, what my impressions are, whether I enjoy flying it or not, and whether I think it's good value for money. And these DLCs for Flight Simulator, and in no uncertain terms, they are expensive. I think this Fulcrum was, I think it was £16. Which is this is some of the most expensive DLC outside of like a season pass or an expansion pass for a game, that you will ever pay. And all I can really say when it comes to that is that I'm satisfied with what it is, because undoubtedly an awful lot of work goes into these models to create them, and then an awful lot of ongoing work in terms of how keeping it up to date with the additions that Flight Simulator add. I kind of think they're worth it. I think whenever you're looking at these things, you should really look at reviews on YouTube and other places, just to see what the people who really know what they're talking about think of these models, because there's definitely some out there that get bad reviews. They tend to be the sort of the cheaper ones. But I've been hooning around in the MiG-29, especially over the skies of Ukraine, quite a lot, and I've definitely been enjoying it. The speed is great, and it looks good, especially at night or in the early morning. And I'm kind of happy with it, and looking forward to spending, a lot more time flying around in the MiG-29, simulating sort of Cold War sorties, and looking at some of the other countries that run MiG-29s and the sort of things that they've done with this iconic aircraft of the Cold War. So I'd have to say, should you think about buying something like the MiG-29? Well, the first thing obviously is, are you interested in flying this as an aircraft? Do you want to add it to your collection? And will it give you the opportunity to kind of simulate some flights and or some sorties that you want to do? And I think if the answer to that is yes, then it's definitely kind of worth investing in, because it is such a beautiful aircraft and such an iconic piece of Soviet military hardware. So there we go. What do you think? I'll leave the comment section open down below so you can put what you see and share what you think. And of course, I'll see you again soon.